Namaste. I hope that this video finds you well. Once again, I would have loved to do a live session instead with you, but since we're all spread out in the four corners of the world, a video that's already recorded is just more convenient. Please stick with me to the end of this video so that I can give you some pointers on why we tend to make the mistakes we do when it comes to finding balance in life. If you're watching this, there is a possibility that you've actually been through the full of the 5 days of the challenge. And in that case, I want to say well done. Because as you might have noticed, it isn't that easy at the end of the day to just stick to something new that we decided to implement. Now, several things to take under consideration for this. Number one, when it comes to implementing new habits in our daily routine and into our life, it is difficult because it is our motivation that begins this journey of implementing, but it is our automations or our subconscious that actually stays with them. And in order for the subconscious to stay with them, we need to make these new routines into patterns of behavior. So, when we try something new and that we don't stay with it, it is simply the way of our very conscious, typical human brain to be. So, don't beat yourself up if you haven't actually been able to stick to the routine. And that's fine. You can always start again if you need to and try one more time. Now, another thing though, those of you who actually manage to stay with the routine, implementing the new advices and tips that I gave during the 5 days, you will notice that there's been some kind of subtle changes, even if it's just during these 5 days. You might feel more calm, more concentrated, more focused. You might have noticed that some things really sat well with you and others not at all. You might even have noticed that some of your old habits really were counterproductive to you. Or on the contrary, you might have noticed that there's some things that you tend to do that you didn't do during these 5 days and that you prefer going back to. Now, the reason that we're all different in this is because of our unique constitution, of course. In this kind of 5-day challenge of Ayurveda that we've done now, we are really focusing on a general level in balancing out certain aspects that are the ones that always are the first ones to go out of balance when we go through life. Okay. As you might have read in the article I sent you on knowing your dosha, knowing your tendencies, there is, of course, an individual trait very much into what we need in order to stay in balance. Now, if you would like to take this a little bit further, so for instance, understanding more in depth what you're very unique, there's only you, like a snowflake, that have that exact constitution, needs and functions, then you can step further into the online project, the online course that I have as well. But it's also the case for those of you who actually would like to go further into depth in just simply understanding more about Ayurveda, getting the knowledge on a broader scale. Because the online course that I will talk to you about in just a minute is made in both of those, let's say, goals. So, number one, there's a part of it which is really to create the understanding for you of this holistic view of medicine. Ayurveda is the oldest medicine in the world and has a very full potential when it comes to healing and preventing imbalances. So you will get a broad and generalized knowledge as you go into the course, but then you can also, of course, because it's part of it, go into depth about just what you are and need. So, This means that if you are interested in developing this routine, maybe also being able to fine tune it and to stick to it a little bit more than just for 5 days in order to actually create sustainable health for the rest of your life, then go straight away to my website, yogisha.com, and sign up for this online course. The online course I've chosen to call the Self-Knowledge Project. And the reason that I'm calling it the Self-Knowledge Project is, number one, because it is a question of know thyself, like the oracle in Delphi in the ancient Greece. Knowing thyself, know thyself. And of course, it is very, very true. So to know yourself means understanding, like we've done during these 5 days, your constitution by reading the signals, noticing the tendencies and the small adaptations that you need to make in order to feel good. I have also decided to call it a project instead of simply calling it a course, because project is a work in progress, and it means that we continue for the rest of our lives. It's not a question of having a result today, and it also therefore takes off pressure from your own productivity, let's say, that we're just so used to always having. So instead of calling it the Ayurveda online course, it's called the Self-Knowledge Project for these reasons. Head over to yogisha.com from today, and you have access to this after that for as long as you wish. So you can start today, or you can start whenever you want to. I am also available, of course, for online consultations for those who wish to take this step even deeper, because what we tend, and this is what I mentioned in the very beginning, to do is that we look into all these quizzes online, or we look into information that other people have put out there about them. There are reasons that these online quizzes can be actually counterproductive for us, not always helping, because of our own incapacity sometimes as well to read our own signals. We also have this bias where we want to respond what we think is the right thing, but it might not actually be what's the right for us or what we're actually doing. And then also we tend to have this confusion between what is actually happening now in my life and what my original tendencies are like. Now, this might not make sense to you right now, but that's fine, because once you do the project, you will understand exactly what I mean. So, for some of us, when we do the project, it's quite easy to have that objective kind of look on. You will get the tools to do so on what your constitution is. And for some, they wish to tap into deeper and just sitting with someone externally who has the knowledge, and then go into more details in order to find the constitution. And in that case, I am also available for consultations. They're usually ideally done face to face at the same place, but of course that's not always possible. So by video, FaceTiming, WhatsApp chat video, and Facebook Lives and whatnot, not lives, they're also, of course, possible to do. Please get in touch with me for any questions you might have concerning Ayurveda, concerning the online course, or even comments about the 5-day challenge. Contact me at charlotte@yogisha.com. I am waiting for your messages. Namaste. Have a lovely weekend.